Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting, where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlocks tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Step in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title belts, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the Havoc, where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, Havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am one half of the greatest tag team in podcasting, the legend J Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Slam.
What's up, family?
And today we have got a special guest we have wanted to get in here for a while, Mr. Aaron Rose.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you doing today on this Good Friday?
Doing great. Just enjoying the day. Had a great Good Friday service and getting ready for a full day tomorrow of hockey and wrestling all at once.
Man, we were talking off screen, man. This man has so many irons in the fire. It is not funny. I mean, everything from commentary to media stuff. I mean, he's doing it all. So I will let you go do a little intro on yourself there, Aaron, and let you just tell everybody a little something about yourself and what you've been into.
Well, my name's Aaron Rose. I've been a professional commentator since, I'd say, about 2004 now, when I started with the University of Kentucky Hockey Club. I was a commentator there for 10 years, and all the while I was able to get into pro wrestling and also doing a lot of high school sports commentary, and now adding the world of ring announcing, commentary, production for some promotions. So I'm doing it all. I guess you could say I'm the good utility player.
It sounds like it. I mean, this man, like I said, this man's doing it all. So what originally drew you to wanting to be a commentator or, just a ring announcer, whatever, because I've seen you do it all.
Well, I'll be quite honest. I really got the bug for doing stuff like that when I worked with the Lexington Legends baseball team. I was an usher, and so just showing people to their seats and staying heads up for foul balls and stuff like that, because at the time at the Legends, they didn't have netting all the way around like they do now. So it was kind of dangerous at times. So that was part of my job, but there was some great opportunities where our production team needed some help, and that included me getting the opportunity to do some in-crowd announcing and PA announcing, and I got to do that with the Lexington Men of War hockey team too. I got to do in-crowd announcing. That job just kind of fell into my lap when the first in-crowd announcer that they had showed up inebriated to a game on a Sunday game, mind you.
Oh, wow.
And those Sunday games start at 2:00. It started at 2:00 in the afternoon. So, she was.
I guess it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, she was on it early, so. She got fired. General manager said, "Hey, how would you like to give this a go?" And me at that time, I'm like, "Oh crap, really?" I'm panicking because at that point I didn't have a feel for it, And my first appearance as an in-crowd announcer was going to be inside Rep Arena instead of in front of 4,000 to 5,000 people. Talk about a push into uncomfortable territory, but thriving because of it. Because I really got the bug, from that and working at the Legends, and really when I started to do the UK games, I'd become the DJ at the Lexington Ice Center for just their open skating. And I always like to stick around for the UK games and watch them because it was, I got in for free and, I worked at the rink. So they were, I just had the opportunity to meet with the content director there, the videographer. And he said, I have this idea. Mind you, this is in 2004. So streaming on the internet was not a very common thing at that point. Mm-hmm. We were kind of one of the first teams to really do that. So I got such a great opportunity there with the UK hockey team. I had no idea how to call hockey at all. I learned from watching NHL broadcasts, from playing the video games, from listening to the radio. That's how I learned. Because at the time, where I lived in Versailles at the time, and Versailles had a Southern gospel radio station, but at night it would power down. So when it powered down, we were able to pick up the New Jersey Devils radio, and I could hear their broadcast was from the Devils. So that's, one of the ways I started listening. So, so that was a really unique experience. And from doing that, my radio career flourished a little bit because I got to work with LM Communications in Lexington, which that houses like ESPN 1300, 107.9 To Beat, 106.3, at the time of CD 106.3, 96.9, 96.1. So I really had a good, good in there, and it was great. And I learned a lot about producing there. So again, me just knowing how to do commentary, it's starting to expand a little bit because now I am working radio. All the while, I was still working for the Legends, and I made buddies with one particular wrestling manager that we all know and love from the EWA, and also my commentary partner, Mr. Lone Wolf Bobby Blade.
Ah,
I love Bobby.
So Bobby and I got to know each other as I was working at the Legends. At the time, I was a character they called Tiny. So if you ever hear people refer to me as Tiny, that's why it came from the Lexington Legends. I was a character at the ballpark that wore an old-timey baseball uniform and danced around on an out-of-town scoreboard out in left center field. It's if you've gone up to any games recently, it's covered up now. It's called like the Mountain Dew spot or something. But that was an old scoreboard platform. And it was a concept that was initiated by Alan Stein. And I got to work with a great team at the Legends to make that dream come true for them. And I was the perfect character for that. And so the Tiny name stuck with me. But Bobby and I, we kind of got to know each other through there. We would talk through MySpace at the time. Gosh, I'm putting age on myself.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. MySpace is coming back. So,
Oh, my God.
We can cover it up now,
Right.
We all had a page.
Right.
So we're all old enough to have a page. Let's put it that way.
Wait. If you all had a page on MySpace, were you the ones that would customize the HTML and put like all kinds of different backgrounds and stuff on it?
Unfortunately, yes.
I wasn't pushing in it. I just was the basic. I I might, poke some people and say hi and send friend requests, stuff like that.
Mine was mostly Boston Celtics background stuff.
Yeah, and it was like for me it was just coding. Like I learned how to code in high school, so I messed with that a little bit. The coding now is a lot more complicated than what I used to do with basic HTML, but I was able to learn enough through that to kind of customize those things through holy crap, through MySpace. I don't know if you guys are watching SmackDown right now, but Pat McAfee is back and he's turned heel.
No, we usually cover that breaking news, guys. Pat McAfee's back.
Sorry,
Aaron broke it. No. Hey, that's we usually cover SmackDown a week behind. So when we do our no, you're fine. You're fine.
You're fine.
Everybody knows everybody knows the results anyway. But we usually like this week we'll do a recap show after this show, and we'll cover last week's SmackDown because of what we're always doing doing it on Friday.
Yeah,
we're always right in the middle of it while it's playing, so we don't get to watch it. Plus, I don't have any channels that cover SmackDown, so and I'm not paying for 15 different channels from WWE. I can go to Chat GPT or something and get the results.
I understand. Yeah.
I told you what to do, man. Like I said, Surfshark, $50, I think, for like what 2 years or something like that. I got a deal.
That's not bad.
What is it? A VPN?
Yeah, VPN. I just switched my location. To Canada. I'm Canadian now. I'm just
okay. Well, I figured that was going to happen anyway. You are a Bret Hart fan, so
So since I'm in Canada, Netflix here is it includes all the pay-per-view, all the SmackDown, all the Raws, all the NXT. So you don't have to pay for anything. You pay one price and you get everything.
Hey, he's putting you on to something, people. So go get it.
There you go. Anyway, so Bobby and I got to know each other through MySpace, and one day he messaged me. He said, "Hey, I'm working for a promotion called Kentucky Championship Wrestling, and I am the." He said, "At this point, I'm the ring announcer, but they want to move me back into a manager role. How would you be interested in maybe coming to ring announce?" Well, I'd had a couple shows under my belt at that point because I'd done a couple different shows, and I was just kind of like a guest of the radio doing that. But now it's like, you know what, maybe this is a good opportunity. So I got my full-time ring announcing start with KCW, and I got to work with guys like Larry D, Bobby Blade, Chucky Smooth, the Steels. I got to work with all them. Tuffy, Aftershock, Jared Sloan, all those guys. It was a good little motley crew. We had fun, and then I got to go to from there. When I was still with KCW, Chris Hayes and the Mountain Wrestling Association gave me a call, and I had started working for Chris, actually for his, for one of his T-Mobile stores. He was, running a few T-Mobile stores. So I got to work with him in more ways than one. And, with the MWA, we had just started in Winchester down here at the Fanny Bush Elementary. And we did a lot of great shows there. I mean, a lot of great shows. We were inside this gym / cafeteria hybrid, and we would stuff at least 300 to 400 people in there at any given point when it got really big. Our 40th anniversary show, had guys like Abyss and Wildcat Chris Harris and all the guys and legends from the MWA past, and it was a double ring battle royal. Jordan Cage was on that card. Larry D was on it. It was a great event. And, we really packed it out in there, and it was absolutely awesome. And from there, all the while I'm still doing hockey. I'm still working radio, I am definitely the definition of burning the candle at both ends.
I was
really
going to say, it doesn't sound like much has changed since 2004, buddy.
So
You're right, except I'm older now.
Are these like full-time jobs, or are these like part-time jobs, or like
they were definitely part-time jobs. Doing wrestling and stuff, definitely part-time.
So like, do you have a regular full-time for T-Mobile also, or whatever?
Yeah, T-Mobile was my full-time job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you really don't stop, do you? I mean, like, when do you sleep?
Oddly enough, I make enough time to do it and to sleep well. I mean, as a matter of fact, back in 21, and I'll hit on this later, I got really sick, and that's when I learned that I kind of needed to make sure that I was efficient enough to where I could get everything done and sleep a good full night's sleep. I'll get into that a little bit later, though. I got the opportunity to go work for a great promotion down in Corbin, Kentucky called Pro Wrestling Freedom. And Pro Wrestling Freedom was, I think, and if you ask Bobby Blade the same thing, he'll tell you the same thing. I think that was the promotion that kind of flipped Kentucky wrestling on its head. It was more kind of a strong style type show, a little more super indie, a lot more action driven. And, they were the ones to start bringing 6 or 7, 8 matches a card. A lot of the time it just seemed like the standard was like 5.
Yeah.
And 6 at the most. Nowadays, I understand where they were coming from with those shorter cards, because the attention span of fans has definitely, dropped, because it's social media. Yeah. The social media life has us moving and moving and moving and moving,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I understand, but Pro Wrestling Freedom, it gave me some great opportunities to work with some great talent. Who are just some of the people. Chuck Taylor came through there. I got to work with Adam Pearce.
Okay.
Dutch Mantel. Golly, there were so many guys that came through there. And going through there, like Shane Mercer, Alex Zane, you had Isaiah, Mickey Knuckles was there, Cash Flow, it was a stacked roster. And of course, Jordan Cage, and that's where Jordan Cage just came out of the shell, man. Like, it was one of those things where he had a fan club, even if he was a heel. If he was a bad guy, they still loved him. And, the eventual goal, for him was, they were going to put that title on him, and they did. And just, wow, what a reception when it happened. Yeah. So PWF was awesome.
Well, I was going to say, you just covered all 4 of my first 4 questions I had for you. So I'm
a talker. I'm sorry.
No, trust me. Yeah. We love to sit and listen, and me not having to interrupt and ask another question is great. So this is probably one of the easiest interviews I've ever done. So thank you for that.
No problem.
So I when you're doing commentary and stuff, like, what kind of prep work do you do? And like, are you more of a like JR and King style where you don't want to know the outcomes so that you can give a actual, legit response to what's going on in the ring?
Yeah. You can definitely say that. I like being surprised. I 100% love that. That being said, though, when I'm going into events in which I'm not very familiar with, for example, let's say I'm going to go down in May, I'm going to go down and work for Next Generation Wrestling down in Knoxville. Well, Mance Warner's on that card. I haven't done a show with Mance yet. So it's going to be up to me to go back, watch his past matches, see what kind of style he does, look for the moves that his trademark moves. And then day of the show, I always like to talk to the guys and say, especially if I don't know you, I like to say, what kind of moves should I look out for? Give me some background, and stuff that I can put over on commentary. So that's my prep work. I do like to watch a lot of wrestling, and watch a lot of matches for each of these guys that are coming through. And, now if it's a show like EWA where I'm there pretty consistent for the most part, I'm already going to know all the background, unless we got somebody new coming in or there's some kind of big storyline shift that's coming. They're going to try to keep me in the dark as much as they possibly can. But then there's some moments as a commentator that they got to let me in on. So, but I love to call it as it happens. And that's the sports side in me too. Where I do hockey, I get very excited when there's a good goal or something like that. I'm gonna pop for it, and that's what I should do as a commentator. You want to tell the story.
Fan in you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
And
yes.
if I hear you excited about something, then to me as a fan, that lets me know, well, something big's going on, so I need to get excited too.
Right.
So what's going on,
Right.
And people don't realize that a lot of what goes on in the match is predicated on you all too, because you all, are telling, not only are they telling the story in the ring, you're narrating the story.
Yeah.
Right.
So it all predicates together, or not predicates, but it all
works together.
Is supposed to congeal together.
Yeah.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's unscripted.
It's my dogs, man. Get back in here. Go lay down. Go. Thank you. And that's our role. We are the storytellers. We are the ones that we don't take away from the match. We add to it. We give the background, and we let the guys in the ring tell their story. We're just the ones that are, inching it along in terms of what's happening. And, we fill in the gaps, if you will. That's what we do.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good way to explain it.
Well, I've heard a lot of people talk about there's the famous Triple H thing where he said, if you think you're going too slow, go slower. Mm-hmm. And if you think you're going slow, then go slower. Does that kind of, overflow onto the commentary team too?
Not really, because we get to follow the pace of the match. So if we got a match that's boom, 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 going, I'm going. If we're slowing down a little bit and say someone's in the submission hold and they're trying to work their way out of it, I'm going to have a couple seconds to kind of drop a little hint of knowledge in. Mm-hmm. Or Bobby will, or Trippin will, we work together as a cohesive unit, and we try to make sure there are no gaps whatsoever in what we're talking about. So, really, it's predicated on what's going on in the ring for us.
So you kind of feed off them or whatever, or it's kind of what you're saying. Like they kind of say what you're going to say or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you ever been like in a moment where, you kind of knew things were supposed to go a certain way, and in like mid-match or something, you completely have to change direction from what you've been told or know the story is supposed to flow to.
Right. And those do happen. And the thing is it can happen via injury, or it can happen, say someone gets knocked out, that's going to change everything completely. You really got to, as a commentator, you got to keep an eye on what's going on in the ring. And you almost have to be, as a commentator, you almost have to be like that second set of eyes. If somebody gets hurt, you can kind of to make a point of it to where, maybe somehow the referee can like see you throwing a hand signal or something to him, be like, hey, something's going on here. But, for me, it's just a matter of just going with the action, and however it changes, if it changes, then it is what it is. We're still going to react, but and that's partially why we don't really want to know what's going to be happening, because everything continues to be super genuine.
Mm.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense. So like I know like WWE was notorious for it for a long time, especially with Vince, but like how much like direction do you get from the back, from the production team in your ear? Or is it like, is mostly the indie scene more just kind of go with the flow and do your thing? We're trusting you type thing.
A lot of it is go with the flow, but it depends how structured the show is. I'll give you a great example. As a producer with Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, we are taping TV every single show. And with us being on WBON, Hometown 24, Cats TV, and having our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, if you will, we have to make sure we're a lot more structured, because we got to be able to fit a 1 hour show in.
Right.
So, we have a script that each show that's going to talk about, production notes, and that's going to be, I have to, make sure the production's running at the same point. So I'll be able to talk to the guys a little bit if they need to know a cue or something like that. So, as a producer, for them, it's a very structured show. In terms of like EWA, we have a production meeting before the show and talk about what we need to talk about. And, it's a little more open there. When, like, if I'm doing a show down at Next Generation Wrestling down in Tennessee, it's basically like, hey, this is the card, have fun, and and I get to, it's like one of those things where they trust me and Adrian. Actually, it's me and Adrian calling the action down there.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's that's Adrian's other love. He loves to be behind a mic too. So me and him have a wonderful time every time we go down to Next Generation Wrestling. It's an absolute blast. But you have the promotions like that. They're like, just have fun and get it ready for High Spots. Because that's all of our stuff is taped for High Spots TV there, and so it does vary depending where you're at. I would imagine, if I had to take a guess, I would imagine a production like before they went on hiatus, like Deadlock Pro down in the Carolinas. I know they were a TV oriented production, so I would say they were heavily produced too. I would say any of the NWA affiliates would be heavily produced. So. It really does vary.
It's almost like, yeah, because and that's the thing too, because so many different people don't realize that even in America, there's so many different styles of wrestling.
Oh, there is.
There's Southern wrestling, there's, there's just so many to list, and it all depends on kind of what your wrestling is based around, what you're filming the most of. I've noticed that just being, involved with, well, what little bit we are. I try to tell myself I'm in the business, but I'm not. I'm a side note to the business. But I'm Barry Horowitz and myself over here. But so what do you think is the most like intense moment or like your favorite segment that you've ever, well, first, before, let me, because I'm pretty sure this will be involved. Congratulations. I don't think I've seen you and been able to tell you this. Congratulations on getting to produce Jeff Jarrett's match, by the way.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
But what is like the most emotional moment, I guess, or your favorite match or segment you've ever done? I'm sure that one's up there.
That's up there. And man, I have a lot, but there's a big emotional moment for me. So I'll go into it. In 2021, let me back up a little bit. In 2016, I stepped away from wrestling for a long term. I wanted to focus more on career and family. So I stepped away for a bit. I would occasionally step in and do a show here and there, and go visit and stuff. And like primetime wrestling with Larry D, I would always go visit them or something like that because they were running strong in Paris every week for a very long time. And I'll tell you this, weekly shows, you can't really pull them off anymore. It's just the economy is just too hard for that. But
yes.
But anyway, so in 2021, I was in the middle of a weight loss journey, but I wasn't doing really well with it. And there was a point in May of 2021 where I got really sick. I ended up contracting pneumonia. I went sepsis, and I found out I was an undiagnosed diabetic at that point. So when I got admitted to the hospital, I had sent stuff to people, and I don't even remember doing that on my phone. And it ended up getting so bad that where the pneumonia went sepsis, and they had me on steroids, and me not knowing I was diabetic, that the steroids shot my sugar through the roof.
Oh yeah.
So I was absolutely delirious. They tried to put a BiPAP on me to help me breathe, and I panicked. I had no idea that it was even happening, but my body panicked, and they rushed my wife out of the room, and she came back, and I was in a coma. So they put me into a medically induced coma. I was down here at Clark Regional in a coma for a week. When I got out of it, and I spent a few days still in the ICU because my body was still trying to fight the pneumonia. My nurse, after I ended up going to a regular room, my nurse that took care of me that night looked at me, and she was like, "You seem familiar." And at that point, my wife had come in and like shaved my beard off for me, because when I was on the vent, they had to shave off a patch of my beard so they can have electrodes stuck to my face. And I told her who I was, and she said, "Well, honey, I didn't think you were going to make it out the first night." Whoa.
Yeah.
So I definitely, by the good grace of God, am still here. And later that year, after I was recovering, I was still using a walker. I was using a cane because I had to learn how to walk again. And I had just started a new position finally work wise, which, it's a wonderful Monday through Friday, and I'll be celebrating 5 years there this August. So, big shout out to my full-time employer. But I'd gone to an OVW show that they were having there in Georgetown because I was coming out of the office that day, and that's where I work full-time, is in Georgetown. And I ran into an old promoter that I used to work with by the name of Anthony Presley. And for those of you who don't know, he ran New South Wrestling up here for a while, and then he brought it back in 2022. Well, in August of 21, we had talked, and he said, "I'm thinking about starting it again." He said, "I might need a ring announcer. What do you think?" I said, "Let me think about it." January rolls around, and he said, "All right, I'm doing it. You in?" And without a hesitation, I'm like, "Yep, I'm in. Let's do it." So my first main event back was legendary Larry D versus Billy Gunn.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. And it felt so good to get back into the flow of wrestling with an event like that. And not to mention, I was going to, I actually had another show before that, and it was such a blur. It was with Generation Next. I was working with like Jack Vaughn, and Lord Crew, and I hadn't seen those guys in forever. So, it was great. And, but that Billy Gunn versus Larry D moment was great. And then the very next show, I got to ring announce a match with Tommy Gilbert and Jerry Lawler. Or not Tommy Gilbert, Doug Gilbert. Sorry, Doug Gilbert and Jerry Lawler.
You can't, and that's the thing. To anybody who's just a casual wrestling fan, that, you didn't say Hulk Hogan. You didn't say Ric Flair. You didn't say, John Cena. You didn't say Roman Reigns. So because you didn't say that, it doesn't mean much to them. But, real wrestling fans, they know what that means.
Doug Gilbert and Jerry Lawler. And and really, it was one of those matches that we really didn't have to say much, because they both got on the microphone beforehand, and I was doing commentary with Otis, and we were just gushing that whole match, because that was our childhood,
Right.
So, Doug Gilbert, Jerry Lawler, that was great. James Storm was on that call, on that event. The Tate twins were there. The Gun Club. I mean, it was a stacked show. And so that was a really cool moment. There's been a multitude of AMW moments. My first War Games event I got to produce, it was absolutely awesome. 2 rings. I was very proud of that show.
I don't blame you. I watched it. It was a good show.
I've been proud of a lot of stuff that we've been doing with AMW and EWA. I mean, man, it's like wrestling in Kentucky right now is so strong. Yes. It's not even funny. Wrestling right now is just.
I was going to say EWA. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say.
Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
EWA to me is home, because they're the ones that gave us, and Adrian gave us the opportunity to even set up a table and say, here we are. This is what we're doing. So, I'm always forever loyal to Adrian and EWA. If they ever need me to promote anything, it's on our page the second they say it. But
yeah, definitely.
And it's no knock at anybody else or anything, but I love AMW. I watched a few shows, and it's, I'm at the point to where I would almost rather watch that than I would WWE. Because it's not the same rinse and repeat shows and the same rinse and repeat characters. Okay, this feud went on for a couple of months. They had their big, pay-per-view moment. Boom, this happened. It's over. Somebody else is in the picture. It's not okay. Let's rotate the 4 men that are on top right now.
And I'm pretty sure, there was a lot of New South AMW stuff last year, and you had different sections of that story going. But the thing was there were so many people in those two wars that it wasn't rinse and repeat,
Yes.
And then we finally got to War Games, and it was like, holy crap,
Well, they showed that there's a way to do an invasion angle without making one company look weak and
Right.
just pathetic, and like
Right.
I said, I'd almost rather watch an indie show now than I would a big production show, is what I call it. Because these indie people, they are just as pro as that WWE, that AEW, TNA, whatever. They are just as pro, and they're probably even better as far as entertainment wise. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
No,
there,
you're good.
It's just
you're
truth.
good. Yeah. Again, indie wrestling is so strong right now, and the internet is such a great place to get all those stories out. YouTube, absolutely awesome. And the thing is I know a lot of people aren't really, well, not a lot, but some people aren't really a fan of YouTube, especially if they want to monetize. But the thing is now, there are so many different options for like custom music out there, whether it be AI or if you have an artist that can make a great professional song for you. Like, give you a little bit of background on Lexi Green. Her theme is completely custom. She knew a producer, I think, out in Las Vegas, and this producer was able to go in and see her character, watch her matches, and build a song based off of who she was. And I think that's one of the I love her theme. That's one of the best ones out there. Yeah,
I like her entrance too. My daughter loves her entrance. My daughter, the one that comes to the shows. She's
right.
I told her Lexi lost the title. She was like, "No, she has to get it back." She loves Lexi Green. She's like, "I love her outfit. Like, what is she, Dad? Like, is she gothic? Is she?" I was like, "Honey, she's just like mystical, whatever. Whatever
She's
you
a voodoo
want her
queen.
to be." There you go. She's a voodoo queen. That's exactly what voodoo queen Lexi Green. But yeah, I love AEW. It's an awesome experience, and not AEW.
EWA, yes,
EWA. Lord, I do it all the time. There's so many 3-name things,
right?
Or 3-letter things, 3-letter organizations. Haha. But yeah, I love independent wrestling. It's gotten, and I agree with you. It's really taking off in Kentucky too.
Oh yeah.
We have a friend he's more of my friend. I don't think Uncle Slam's really ever met him, but maybe a time or two, and on the show once. But John Conway, he was referee.
Yeah.
I've known him.
I worked with John a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I love to see the fact that he's getting himself together and everything, because he's talked to us about he would like to try to get back into it. And that's the thing that I told him. I'm like, man, use that, because we'll help you. I'll help you in any way I can. If it's going to keep you in that ring and help you, keep your sobriety and everything. He's a great guy. And I know he wouldn't care for me telling his story because he's proud of his story, and I'm proud of him. So shout out to you, Conway, man, keep going and everything. And that's really, but that's the cool thing. Wrestling has shortened my world so much. People, I would have never guessed that you knew John Conway, what I'm saying? But here we are sitting here talking about somebody that I've known for 20 years and you've known for probably a good while,
just about the same. Yeah. Well, it's funny. So my wife, I always, whenever there's some kind of big event going on, she's always going to be like, all right, so who are you going to know at this place? And I said, I don't know. We'll find out. And it's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here, the separation of Kevin Bacon, right? So like give you an example. So last night, my wife is a music teacher, and she helps do direct the music for the high school plays in Bourbon County, right? And they're actually finishing up a performance tonight. Well, last night I get in there and I see somebody I work with at the Lexington Nightfall. And she was like, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, my wife's a music teacher." And she said, "Well, my nephew is one of the actors." So I was like, "Well, that's awesome. I'll have to introduce you guys." And Sarah, I go up to introduce them, and she just looked at me and she said, "Wow, even here, you find somebody you know."
Well, I mean, and as we've only been in it about a year now and everything, as far as just podcasting and going to shows and stuff, but it's starting to happen to us. Like Uncle Slam works with who is it that you work with? Aunt?
It's Marty's
Marty Clay.
Marty Clay's aunt or whatever.
Yeah. And
cool. Okay.
While we were starting the podcast, he was telling me, "Man, I know this lady that knows this guy that's a blah, blah, blah champion here in Kentucky." And, I don't remember what title it was and everything at the time. That's why I said blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody's title. But
right.
He said, and he was like, "Yeah, man, maybe, eventually we can get him to come on the show and everything and this, that, and the other." Well, next thing I know, like Superfly Johnny Lee, he's constantly talking about Marty Clay. And I'm like, "Uncle Slam, ain't that same guy that, he was talking about?" And it's, things like that are happening to us too. And it's really cool because, when you've loved wrestling for so long and you get to, like I said, be in it, be on the outskirts in it, whatever you want to call it, it's really cool because you get to meet some people that you never thought you would ever have, the opportunity to meet. I got a message. I asked Ricky Morton to come on the show.
Mm-hmm.
He turned me down for certain reasons I won't get into, but it wasn't nothing bad or anything like that.
Right.
But
right.
I never in my wildest dreams imagined that Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express would be messaging me in my messenger. But guess what? I got the message to show that he did.
Right.
That's just, that right there is worth, this little bit.
Right. And, I've gotten to work with Ricky Morton a couple of times too. Last time I worked with him was, I think it was GMPW a couple of years ago when they were at Great Crossing High School. And he was on the card. So I got to work with Ricky Morton there. And Chris Harris was on that card too. It was a pretty stacked event back in Georgetown. And they'll be back there sometime in May. I gotta get all my ducks in a row. So
and you have a lot.
Oh yeah.
You have a whole lot of yeah, and see, that's another thing too. Like, I'm seeing people pop up on my friends' suggested list just because I'm friends with some of you all. Like BG James.
Right.
I'm friends with his wife and everything, and I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, you're his wife. Can I be your," blah, 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 bugging people. But it's just cool to know that I'm even that degree of separation friends with you, whatever you want to call that, fanboying, whatever. It's just really cool to be I never thought that, because you hear all the horror stories from the 80s and stuff about the wrestling business and stuff and everything. But I'll be honest with you, I have never experienced anything but love, respect, and just, everybody's been totally cool. Even if they couldn't do it, they didn't, they said it in a respectful manner.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Yeah.
And that's awesome because it hasn't been the experience, again, like the horror stories that I heard before.
Right. Yeah. There's been some pretty wild ones out there, I'm sure. Thankfully I've always had good luck with I've always had good luck with some of the stars that I've met all throughout the years, except for one, there's going to be two of them. But I'll talk to you guys about that off the air, because that's something, I'm professional. I'm not going to put that
And that's it.
Public.
You don't have to, and that's the beauty of this business, is you don't have to throw people under the bus like that.
Right.
Not everybody gets along.
Right.
But at the end of the day, why hit them, to get yourself over, and vice versa in a shoot way.
Yeah.
Don't do.
There's no reason for that.
No.
There's no reason for that. But I'll tell you this, it's, as a fan of the business, I've come up on some very awesome people. I brought up Adam Pearce earlier. Adam Pearce went out of his way to come find me after a match and said, "Listen, you're one hell of an effing ring announcer." That was his words to me, and I that was one of the coolest moments of validation I've ever had. Was that. Was like
it means something. The man has been working for the WWE for a few years. He's hit the pinnacle of what he set out to do in this business. So his words hold some weight. I don't care if it's Adam Pearce. I don't care if, what I'm saying. I think people get too hung up on, well, it was just that person.
Yeah.
Well, who cares? What I'm saying?
Who cares? Yeah.
They patted me on the back, and they're doing more than we're doing. So
right. But it's always good, as someone being involved in the business, but not as a wrestler, to, there's a lot of people that will come up to me and just say, "Thank you for what you do. I appreciate that." And I mean, it means a lot in this business. And, because let's face it, there's not a lot of money in the wrestling business. We're not doing this to get rich. We're doing it because we love it.
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of the mission that I'm taking myself. I'm probably getting to a point soon where maybe some of my wrestling bookings might dial back a little bit. And it's not because I don't love the business, because dang it, I do. But I'm working right now with the new hockey team here in Lexington. I'm repping them right here. They're called the Lexington Nightfall. The mission of the Nightfall to me is something that I want to pursue. I want that to kind of be an opportunity for me to leave a mark too. Because with the Lexington Nightfall, we are a nonprofit team. So whatever happens at these games, whatever money we make, we're putting it back into the community. And for me, that just means so much. Our inaugural season was basically an exhibition season this year. We only have 5 games. But guys, we sold out every single game this season, and our finale is tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
We are very, very proud of the things that we are doing with the Nightfall. I'll give you an example. So all the teams that we're playing this year, with the exception of last week's team, everybody is either has been a serviceman or woman. They have either been in the military, police, fire, and all the teams that we have played against have been those types of teams. And that is for us to honor them because of the services that they have done for us as members of the United States of America. Not to mention every single penny we make has been going to some worthy organization. And next year, we're going to be able to expand that even more. Our schedule is going from 5 games to roughly about 17 or 18. So we're going to have some great opportunities to help some more organizations. The CKHA, the Central Kentucky Hockey Association, they've been benefited from us. The South Lexington Youth Baseball League has been benefited from us. Last week we got to work with the Special Olympics, and this week we're working with the Lexington Dream Factory. And the Lexington Dream Factory is basically a local Make-A-Wish, except they're working, independently of Make-A-Wish. But they're sending kids with terminal illnesses or critical illnesses to events that they would never probably be able to go to. Like, we had a kid come through who got to go on a Disney cruise. We had I was reading their website. You had kids that are getting to meet some of their favorite stars. Kids that I've gotten a chance to tour New York, tour Boston. Things that they may never be able to do if these illnesses keep doing what they're doing. So it means a lot for us to be working with these groups. And I feel like being a part of that as their commentator, as their voice, as their representative, I feel like I can be a good part of that. And, I think, like I said, my wrestling bookings may dial back a little bit, but you know what? I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to be hanging around, still going to be doing the thing, but you're going to see me doing a lot of hockey too.
That's all right.
So,
hey, as long as you're doing hockey, that's it. As long as you're doing hockey for that reason, I don't think anybody's going to complain. Nope. I mean, that's it's a beautiful thing,
Yeah.
And especially, not only the fact that you're, using service, men and women and everything to do this with, you're also giving them something.
Right.
After that they, when you're in situations that they're in, that hopefully for whatever ungodly reason they had to be in or whatever, hopefully, a lot of them didn't have to see stuff like that, but you build a camaraderie with the people around you.
Oh yeah.
And when a lot of people don't realize is when they leave that they don't know how to function right. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And it's like you bring them onto a team like that, and that gives them that, that feeling again. They know how to function. This person's going to depend on me. It's in a different way. But, you give them their sense of purpose back. And that's the beautiful. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. If you can't get behind that, then just you need to get out of here then.
Right.
I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So, we're very proud of what we're doing. And, I mean, it's been an awesome year. I'm working with a great group of people there. And, we're basically going to be starting hockey back at the end of August. And that's hard to believe. Yeah. It's really just going to be a couple months break and we're back at it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
How many shows a year, do you think you do? Or production?
Shows. And this is going to be ring announcing.
Yeah.
Commentary, production. I'd say probably about 50 to 60 a year. And that's also keeping up with a full-time job too.
Oh,
I mean, that's a full-time job. You're working 1 day a week doing that stuff. So,
you got 2 full-times or 3 full-time jobs or whatever.
Well, here, the hockey stuff isn't full-time. The wrestling isn't full-time. But if you look over here, I actually have that's my work desk, right? Mm-hmm. And then if you look over here, I actually have a production desk too. So you can see that there's my microphone that's out of commission today. But this entire room is either going to be my regular office or it's going to be my production studio. So
then next time we see him, we're gonna look, and there's gonna be nothing but eggshell on the wall that's stapled where he's got it soundproofed, and his wife's gonna be like, "What is all that eggshell coming in here for?" Don't worry about it; it's important.
Yeah, no, she understands. She gets it,
Uh,
and she can. You can see like behind me. There's a couple posters, and there's an autographed guitar behind me.
who's
That
the
is
autograph of the guitar?
Joe Hendry.
Oh,
Oh.
that's awesome. That is so
Um,
awesome.
I got an autographed Muda behind me. That's a Keiji Muto autograph.
Right.
Oh,
Didn't you post about meeting him a few months ago?
Yeah. Hang on. Let me.
I was thinking
Actually,
that was that was the poster you got signed or something by him.
Actually, no. I got this card signed by
Okay.
Muda. So, yeah, I
love
got
Muda.
this card signed. This was actually a pickup from Toy Headquarters when they were over on Southland Drive. So
Well, I don't know if she's still watching, but shout out to Sarah Rodis because I guess my biggest claim to fame as far as memorabilia is she got me a autographed Undertaker during the ministry time Funko Pop. So
that's awesome.
Yes, I was like, that's totally cool. I don't have any other autographs like that other than Val Kilmer's. I've got his, but that doesn't count as wrestling. But
I got another good one here. Let me see if I can reach it real quick. I might not be able to reach this. I can't believe I have. Ow! I can't believe I have pops all the way up here. Here we go. This is a Bobby Hole autographed Funko Pop.
that is
from
cool.
the Chicago Blackhawks, and it is Beckett authenticated too.
There you go.
Hull was a Hall of Famer in 1983, and if you know hockey, you know Bobby Hull, you know his kid Brett Hull. I
don't know hockey, but I've heard anything I've ever heard in hockey. His name has always come up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's you think of some of the greats like Bobby Hull, Gordie Howe,
Yep.
Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. Nowadays Ovechkin.
Yep.
Ovi broke Gretzky's record.
Oh, really?
His scoring record. Yep, last year.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
See, Uncle Slam, we're gonna have to start a sports show, man. Have Aaron on, man, because me and him, I've always said that me and Uncle Slam were Pardon the Interruption years before Pardon the Interruption was on TV.
Oh,
we
love
have
that.
Everything. It's crazy that we're as good of friends as we are too, because we're like the opposite of everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's Brett. I'm Sean. He's Lakers. I'm Celtics. He was Manning. I was Brady. It was just everything was the complete opposite. So I mean, we sit and have debated sports for 20 and wrestling for 30 years now, easily.
Yeah.
Right.
So let me ask you a couple more questions, and we will let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your Good Friday with your wife. Let's see here. Basically, what do you think is the way that, like, I mean, there's the obvious about just the excitement and the voices and stuff, but what do you think is the biggest difference in the evolution of commentating and play-by-play or color commentary, whichever, or both, since like from the 70s and like Gordon Soley, on through the Gorilla, Bobby Heenan's, into the Lawler, what is that evolution that has made it so much more of a more intricate part of the show?
Well, one of the big things I've always seen is like, when you had the days of like, when you had like Gordon Soley, Gordon Soley was a very storytelling type person, but it was really just kind of him. He was, kind of like that one man crew for a while. He had different partners, of course.
The OG Joey Styles.
Yeah, right. But then you have guys like, when you got into WWF, you had more storytelling type commentators, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan. Those guys together were, one of my absolute favorites. Yeah.
Magic.
I love that duo. And I really think myself and Mr. Blade, I think we kind of have that Gorilla Bobby, Gorilla Heenan type chemistry. It's kind of an old school chemistry. We give crap to one another. He gives a lot of crap to me, and I'll once in a while hit him with the "Will you stop?"
Right.
But I think we have a very good chemistry there, and he is my Bobby Heenan's my Gorilla Monsoon. And nowadays I feel like as time has evolved, I think you're getting a lot more sports style commentary now. Especially in WWE where they have, they're kind of giving the commentators a little more free will compared to what they once were. But, you do have sports, you do have sports commentators that have been coming through there. Yeah.
Well, Pat McAfee's back, as you said.
Right. You got McAfee. I can't remember. I'm looking it up now, but there was a commentator that was on Raw a few years ago. This was like right around the COVID time. Jimmy something. He was an MMA commentator, and I thought he was awesome. I don't think he got enough love, but he was an awesome commentator.
Well, people forget Mike Adamle.
Yeah,
was a part of WWE for a while. He was terrible. He didn't get it.
Right. No, he didn't. Hang on. I have now found the list. It was Jimmy Smith. Yeah, Jimmy Smith. He was running it for a while on there, and I like seeing him. He was in there from May of 2021 through April of 2022, and then they went a different way and had that Kevin Patrick guy, and that kind of
they must and I don't want to say anything bad about the Smith guy because I just don't remember him, but I definitely don't remember the Patrick guy. And if you say he was good, then I trust your opinion. I just don't.
But the thing for me is like, Michael Cole is coming down to me as, one of the all-time greats. He's been with it for so long.
Yes.
And, and he can work with anybody.
And he took so much crap for so long.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah. He did.
He took it and he like a pro. He did. He just pushed on through and look, so congrats to him. I agree with you.
And I think Joe Tessitore Tessa's getting really good too.
Mm-hmm.
He came from the sports background. He was an ESPN guy for a while, and I liked him, and I also love Mauro Ranallo when he was calling for WWE. He's doing wrestling events every once in a while with like MLW and stuff and Maple Leaf Pro. I don't think he's with MLW now, but he's doing a lot with Maple Leaf Pro, and like he always brought an excitement to all those matches, especially in NXT. So there's been a lot of great commentators, and again, nowadays they're the storytellers with the sports hook.
Yep.
And I think that's how a lot of people are calling it anymore. So. And as somebody involved, it's an important role for commentators to do their job right, because you're there putting the talent over. You're there making sure the talent gets their story told in the ring, and and I feel that's a very pivotal role anymore, and And with our role, it's it's one of those things where we definitely want to be excited and stuff, but we also don't want to take away from the match. you know?
Right. It's you got to know how to balance that.
Right.
You really do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, but when you know how to balance, you know, you're gonna do that job right when you can balance it.
Well, I've only got one more question for you, and I'll see if Uncle Sam's got anything because I've been talking your ear off.
Yeah, I got a couple questions, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Here, I'll let you
So
do yours.
usually will ask, in ring performers who their favorite in ring performer of all time is as far as wrestlers go and everything. But
Mhm.
since you're on the commentary team and ring announcing and stuff, who would you say is your favorite commentator? Do individual and team.
Okay. You
All
want
time.
commentators and ring announcers?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think my favorite all-time commentator is Monsoon, and I think Monsoon and Heenan is my favorite team. Coming in a close second is Monsoon and Ventura, and
Yes.
then I would
Very
go
underrated.
and then I'll go with like Lawler and JR. So
I always try
but-
to do my Jesse Ventura imitation. Let me tell you something, Monsoon. I live in the
Right.
Baja.
I love it. You know who does a great Ventura impression?
Who's that?
Killer Cross.
Yes.
He had his interview with Van Valet, and that was amazing when he busted out his Ventura.
I love hearing people who can do good impressions.
Yeah.
It's great. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're
with
good.
what you were saying.
And then for ring announcing, I have a Mount Rushmore of ring announcing.
Okay.
And it's in no particular order. So if I'm putting them up there, it's I'm putting them all on the same level. Gary Michael Capetta of WCW, The Fink.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Then Dave Penzer.
Okay.
And Lillian Garcia.
I can get on board with all that.
Yep.
Lillian Garcia was the one that really broke the barrier down for female ring announcers. I know you had like back in the early 90s, like Mike McGurk. I think that was her name, was Mike McGurk.
I think
and she did a great job, but it's like Lillian just busted down that door. And you have some amazing female ring announcers right now, especially Alicia Taylor, or is it? Yeah. She is knocking it out. She does a great big time feel when it comes to ring announcing. But yeah, Lillian Garcia just she tore that veil.
I agree with that.
But as a ring announcer, I always my style was kind of a mix of the Fink and Gary Capetta. I always liked how Capetta was very conversationalist when he would introduce people to the ring. Like I always loved like when the opponent came out, he'd be like, and ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring from blah, 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 260 pounds. I loved that. I just loved his cadence as a ring announcer.
I think he's very underrated. And I also love the way it wasn't just like he would say like, from Venice Beach, California, Sting. It was, this is Sting,
he was the one that kind of coined that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it stuck with everybody else. Yeah. Oh yeah. And Capetta as a ring announcer who didn't have a really deep voice, he was able to take his voice and still make it very powerful. So that's why I love Capetta. If I ever got a chance to even just say hello to him work a show with him, I would just literally thank him for everything he did because, he was one of my big inspirations. And I will also say this. Let me say this as well. The best unsigned ring announcer out there right now is Slick Rick. Slick Rick Toms out of the Cincinnati area. If you ever get a chance to listen to that man ring announce, I listened to a lot of him when I was first coming up. So if you ever get a chance to go see Slick Rick ring announce, you're gonna love how he brings energy to the ring.
Okay, I'll have to check
Yeah.
him out.
Yeah.
I always said that like Sting was to WCW what the Undertaker was to the WWF. So to
Right.
me, Gary Capetta was to WCW what the Fink was to the
Yes.
WWF. The only
100%.
difference is WWF kept going and they ended up getting Lillian Garcia too. And,
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, WWF's gonna, they or WWE, they really, are still branching out. So
right. So my last little question, and this just popped in my head: where do you rank Tony Schiavone?
Tony Schiavone, I really put him right up there with anybody. He was the voice of WCW for such a long time. If you got into a WCW pay-per-view, you're listening to Tony Schiavone bring it in either with Dusty Rhodes or Larry Zbyszko or Bobby Heenan. Again, just Tony. And to this day, I still like watching Tony Schiavone on AEW, and and not to mention, he kind of had that sports background too because he did a lot with the University of Georgia.
Yep.
So he was a Bulldog for a long time. So Tony Schiavone definitely deserves his flowers for sure.
Uncle Slam, you go ahead.
All right. What is your wildest wrestling story or whatever you would, or the wildest thing you've seen at, say, wrestling event?
My wildest thing I've seen? Ooh.
Yeah.
Without telling any names.
Yeah.
Golly, you're going to put me on the spot.
You won't need names when you hear the story. They'll know who I'm telling on.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of the wildest, like, okay, I got one for you.
All right.
So mine was seeing an injury that shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
It was a multi-man match with BWF, and there was a wrestler named Max Misery. Max is an awesome dude, and he was a bit of a bigger guy, but as a bigger guy, he was able to fly, and he was great at it. Well, he went for an Asai moonsault, and when he came down for the moonsault, it was like the people out there weren't able to get under him, and he slapped that leg on the concrete. It was at the Corbin Civic Center, and
in that building,
that leg shattered.
Oh God!
Yeah. So I was gutted for him when that happened, and like it was one of those moments that just took me out of my game completely. I was taken out of the game because I was just like, where do we go from here? Because this sucks. I'm gutted for him.
Yeah.
So, so you had that moment. And then I also loved, well, not also loved, but I loved this moment. We did a show for Sean the Virus Hard Drive, another PWF story. And we did a benefit show for him because he had broken his arm. So we were trying to, do a benefit show to make sure he was up and going. And bills are taken care of and stuff. Well, for our entryway for that show, we had been bringing in this like really professional looking entryway. But for this one, we didn't have a whole bunch of stuff because it was on a Sunday and our guy wasn't able to be there. So we kind of made this makeshift entryway out of scaffolding. Okay. Well, when we got into a multi-man match, Alex Zane was a part of it. And Zane decided that he was going to jump off of the scaffolding. And that scaffolding was probably 18 feet high, maybe.
Oh.
And he dove off, and it was one of the that was a mark out moment for me. I was like, oh my gosh. So
see, I get anxiety with stuff like that, like Shane McMahon going up on the Titantron and off the man.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I used to never be like that. Like I had kids, and all of a sudden it was like, man, I just watch my daughter walk across. Maybe it's just because she's clumsy, but I just watch
your dad instincts come out.
I see ankles rolled and friggin' everything. I'm like, don't move too fast. You might hurt something.
Right.
Man, I don't know how I'm still a wrestling fan watching people doing moonsaults and stuff and everything, but I just turn my head and say, nope, can't watch it. I seen something start and I can't watch it finish.
I'll tell you one more funny PWF story. And you were talking about moments that, that really stood out to me.
Yeah.
I am not an active competitor. I do not wrestle. I have never wrestled, but there was a moment where they were doing this storyline where PWF, a group called the Fear Family, they were running Roughshot, and they decided to do a takeover of the promotion. And the thing that they decided to do was they started beating everybody down and stuff, and all the baby faces came out, they got destroyed and things like that. Well, the booker of that show, Jimmy Felcher, at that time, he told me, he called me, he said, Tiny, I got an idea for you. So it's that. He said, how would you like to take a beat down? I was like, okay. Well, what we got, he went through it. So what ends up happening was all the baby faces come out and they all get destroyed. So everybody's sitting there in shock, like, who is going to step up for PWF? Who's going to, So it was me. So I stood up, ripped my vest off, ripped my tie off. People are like, oh, they're freaking out. And I get in there and I get met with a boot right here by Jacob Black. Actually, a front kick by Jacob Black. And I go down. They put the boots to me. It's Jacob Black, Dustin Ray's, Derek Neal, and Mickey Knuckles. They're all putting the boots to me. And I get ready to get out of the ring, and they stopped me and they said, no, we're not done with you now. And I'm like, oh crap. And then Dustin Reyes grabs one leg, Derek Neal grabs another, and I look between my legs and there's Mickey Knuckles. Mickey stops, boom. And, and obviously she took care of me. It was fine. But the worst part about the whole dang thing was I forgot how tall that ring was from the ring down to the concrete, again, at the Corbin Civic Center, where it's all concrete at that point. So I land, I'm like, pow. Well, here was the kicker. My wife was running sound for us at that point, and I didn't tell her it was happening.
Oh.
So when I drop out in front of her, she bends down. She's like, "You okay?" I said, "Yep." She said, "Don't you ever do that to me again." So,
hey, that's classic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got, if it's in wrestling, is it still okay to do things without telling your wife, or as long as it's within wrestling?
Yeah.
Maybe. All right, I got one more, and then I'll let you go. And I kind of asked everybody this question or whatever. knowing what you know now and being in it as long as you have been, what would you tell somebody who's get into the business, or what would you tell your younger self that you know now that like you've learned over the years or whatever? Kind of, words of wisdom or advice to like a younger person getting into the business.
To a younger, well, let's break this down into a couple moments here. If I'm talking to myself again, for me, it would have been branch out a little bit more than you have been. Okay. I've mainly been stuck around Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee. That's been my region. I had opportunities to go try some bigger promotions, and it just never worked out. And I would tell myself at a younger age, pursue those. You should have taken the chance to pursue them. Now, that being said, I am in a place now where my health is a lot better than it was back then. I think I would have worn myself down a lot more had I been on the road so much. So, I definitely feel good about where I'm at now.
Yeah.
To somebody young wanting to get into the business, whether you want to be a wrestler, whether you want to be an announcer, a commentator, find a reputable school. Okay. It's not. I know it's harder to get into wrestling as a commentator and ring announcer. There's not as many spots. But you have to be willing to go in and do stuff that other people aren't doing. You want to be willing to help out with concessions. You want to be willing to help out with ticket sales, putting seats out, building that ring, building the set, even running music if they need a guy or a girl to run music. You got to be willing to prove yourself valuable to all these different promotions that you want to work at. So, that's why I've had so many roles with EWA. Adrian knows that I'm virtually good anywhere production wise. I can work backstage production. I can run sound. I can commentate. I can ring announce. I've done it all. I like where things are going right now with Nina as our ring announcer.
Yes.
Because it gives me a chance, because you remember I was doing double duty for a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I get a good opportunity to just focus on the commentary side of it. So, but you just, and I really feel like I've proven myself valuable to a whole bunch of different promotions. AMW sees me as a utility player, being able to, be the head of production, but also to be a ring announcer when needed, to do post-production commentary when needed. I've done that multiple times. So always prove yourself valuable, no matter what the situation.
Yes, I've 100. That's what I've always heard. And not just in wrestling. It's just in
it's life in general.
Do. Yes.
Yeah.
Make yourself valuable in multiple ways other than just one. Because if you're only valuable for one thing, then you're only going to be asked to come around when needed for that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're absolutely correct.
Aaron, you got anything else for him, Uncle Slim?
No, I think that's about it. Like I said, I kind of want him to enjoy his Good Friday. Like I know he works a lot, he stays busy, so he probably needs some rest anyway. So
it's gonna be
about 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow. I am calling the last hockey game of the year for the Nightfall as they take on the kids hockey club, and then right after that, I am heading to Cynthiana for GMPW's 5th anniversary show. So I will be dead come Easter Sunday.
He's like, man, somebody go hunt the eggs for me.
Right, exactly.
Bring me back about 3 or 4 of them hard boiled ones, not the plastic.
Right. Give me some protein. I'll be good.
Right. I'm gonna need it. An IV
Yeah.
drip, some Powerade.
I will be dead to the world come Sunday, but yeah, Sunday, at my church, I'll be running the live stream and the running the projectors and the audio all again. So it just it never ends. But I love what I'm doing, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, you do a great job at it, and we appreciate you taking some time out to come on our show and talk to us and teach us a little bit about, what goes on in the booth behind the scenes. I mean, you really did, I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't know, that you really shined a light on and everything. And so we appreciate all the knowledge and everything, because we're still learning too.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't know what else to say other than we appreciate. You're more than welcome to come back anytime you want to.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you got anything else for him, Uncle Slam, or you want to?
No, like I said, this is probably one of our easiest interviews we've ever had. But I mean, so yeah, I mean, man, you're always welcome to come back. Like I said, I mean, anytime. Like I said, so.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to come back and see you guys for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate that.
You got anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Oh yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Like I said, check out the Lexington Nightfall. Our game will be live on YouTube tomorrow, and the Lexington Nightfall Facebook page. Also, want to give a big shout out to AMW, because we got a big, massive event coming up on August 22nd down in the arena at Corbin. We are doing a show in the arena.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be a big event. You're going to see legends. You're going to see current stars. You're going to see AMW stars. Not to mention, we're going to be working with some other promotions who are going to be bringing a match in. So we're really excited for that. And it's going to be a big convention day too. We're going to have vendors all the way around the concourse. So it's going to be a huge day, and you'll see EWA stars there too. It's going to be great. We're really excited for it. There's going to be a lot of work going into it. Tickets will go on sale soon. And then, So, and then on the 11th, I have a pay-per-view I'll be producing for AMW. Unfortunately, I won't be at the All-Star Classic in Richmond, but I'll be back on the 17th for the Rumble. So we'll be rolling and staying busy, guys.
Yes, sir. We plan on being at the All-Star Classic. We're going to try to be at all of them if we can.
All right.
I was going to say, Uncle Slam, man, we should have saved our money on SmackDown, just went down to Corbin and everything to AMW.
Man, we could have bought a couple different promotions for what we pay for WWE.
For real.
Easily. Well, I mean, listen, you're going to have an arena opportunity with AMW on August 22nd. You got plenty of time. It's going to be a big event, and we're going to have all kinds of legends there. I would love to dive in on names, but I can't do it yet because they're not public. But
understand it.
Yeah, I do know the Good Brothers will be in action.
Okay.
So
get your tickets, people. Get down there, see them.
They'll go on sale soon. So
yes, support your local indie wrestling. You never know. Go ahead.
That's my message. Support indie wrestling. Yes. You're never going to know who you're going to run into and who's going to become a star. Because, like I said, wrestling right now is it's in a great position, especially here in Kentucky and the surrounding areas. So go enjoy wrestling. Yeah, whether you like AEW, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, any indie promotion, go watch it because it's awesome right now.
Yes, it is. True words. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are done. Don't forget, before the referee hits that bell or hits that 3 count, we call for the bell. Don't forget to go like, share, follow, subscribe. all that other good stuff, so we can keep bringing you great guests like Mr. Aaron Rose. And I believe the referees hit that 3 count, so we're going to ring that damn bell.